Hey guys, this is all about my vocal lesson because a lot happened that I want to share with you. I'm going to be sharing the backstory and also how I convinced my parents to let me take them every single week. And make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. So I'm going to start with the backstory. And so the backstory is that I saw that there's a teacher guy group who is really talented. Every week he does a free Saturday hip hop lesson for all levels. Anyone can do it. Go to his Instagram guy group and also go to his other Instagram, Groove Interactive, and you can find out all the information in case it's something you're into. Sometimes we do like really easy beginner combos, and sometimes we do advanced harder combos. But they're always a lot of fun, and it works because if you're a beginner and it's a harder combo, it's about what you can do. It's not like trying to be the best in the class. It's literally about just logging on, having fun, learning a hip hop combo, and you can't do it, and if you can't do it or you're not fabulous at it, that's okay. And as long as you're trying and you're having fun, that's what matters. And he has said that before, so yeah. Now for me, it's always an easy class because I'm an advanced hip hop dancer. I can do the beginner, I can do the advanced, and stuff, which is really good. Then, but he has a website, Groove Interactive, and he posts a bunch of Zoom classes and that cost money, but they're not that insanely bad. And what happened was he had some classes he teaches, and some of them he has teachers who teach. So last week, I had saw all that he was having a teacher teach a vocal lesson. They kind of been doing this for a while, and I saw it and went that's cool. I kind of wish I could do that. And then what happened was I didn't say anything because it was $15, and also also the fact that I had spent a lot of money on birthday presents for Sam, my allowance, and my mom gave me some money so I could get some gifts for my dad for Father's Day. All of them were a success. All the treats were amazing, and apparently the unicorn decorating set is candy because he went to wash the unicorn horn because he was trying the cake, because he tried the cupcakes which are the same thing. But he was enjoying a slice of cake, ended up being a win. That was something I was kind of iffy on because I never made a strawberry cake before, or really a cake. And also, the cupcakes are the same exact thing, same batter. But the cupcakes were in a different pan, in cupcake pan. And there were 8 cupcakes, and now there's no cupcakes. Because he shared with my mom, my mom tried it too, and said it was a win. But also, the cake was in a cake pan. And also when I was cooking it, baking it, for some reason, the cake kind of kept looking like it wasn't 100% cooked. But it was cooked, don't worry. I, tested it. It was, what I mean is I took a toothpick, poked it in the center, it's cooked. It came out cooked. It just kind of looked it didn't look how I thought it should. But honestly, when I took it out of the pan, it looked perfectly fine. Other than, and it almost fell apart on me. while I was frosting, but I saved it. It turned out really good looking. Taste, I'm not the judge on, because I don't like sweets, and I like baking and stuff, but I never taste it. And I'm like, I eyeball it, and I'm like, if I need a toothpick to check if it's cooked. If it's not cooked, I'll leave it in a little bit longer or something. And I can tell you if it looks good or not. And overall, I did a really good job, I feel. I'm going to give myself credit for that because I had never baked a cake before, or really any of the treats I was making that day. And for never doing it and going for something that hard and challenging, and the fact that, according to my parents, it tastes good and it all looks good. Except for the Oreo cake. That one, it doesn't look it kind of looks like a hot mess, but that is because I feel like anything that has mashed up Oreo cookies on top, it just kind of, that's not my fault that it looks a hot mess. It's just the stuff together look kind of, it doesn't look fancy, it looks kind of like a hot mess. But it's fine. So I had spent like money, and then yesterday I saw it and I really wanted to do it. So I asked my dad and he signed me up. And we decided to do it. It was my first voice lesson ever. And in order to become a pop star, I have to be a really good singer and a really good dancer. And I was off edge. And what I mean was I was iffy because first up, I didn't really know anything about the teacher. Second off, like when you're working with a new teacher, or at least for me, especially one that I never really heard of, like you never know how their teaching style is gonna be. You don't know if they're gonna be really, really nice and like not give correction because they're scared to, or if they're gonna like be really, really nice and give corrections sometimes, or if they're gonna be really mean and strict, or if they're gonna be nice, like really nice, and give corrections when they need to. And she was definitely one that was really, really nice and gave corrections when she needed to. And also, I was like doing a class that some of the people on there have been doing for weeks. And I'm like one of the new people, you know. And the fact that I'm doing it without my crush and stuff like, and that singing has never been my most comfortable area. And so, yeah, I felt like I'm gonna be honest here, and I'm gonna say something honest. For me, it's easier for me to sing in front of people that I don't know who they are. Like and this is not me like trying to be rude to like my family or anything. It's just true. Like I know that that's true because unlike me, I can sing in front of my crush. I know who he is. That's a different story. That's because I know that he's never gonna let it be a no. And that he can do everything he can to make it a yes. And also, every time that I sang in front of him, there were other people. Some of them I kind of knew. Some of them I didn't know at all. I knew their name and that was about it. But also I know this because yesterday, I feel like when it's someone professional or someone that I don't know, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier for me. In versus my parents can ask me to sing and I'm like, it's a different story. I'm like, no. When people like family and stuff, it is a different story. And I don't really know why. I used to think it was because they're not gonna be straight honest with me versus a professional is. Like, what I mean by that is, like, I used to think that, like, oh, like, their family, they're gonna, oh, like, they're gonna go on and say, like, oh, I did amazing, all of that. Like, a professional teacher is gonna be more honest with me. If I didn't do perfect, she's gonna tell me what I need to work on. But now, I don't know if that's the case or not anymore. Like, I don't know. I just don't know. Also, I'm like saving my singing voice for when it's needed, and which is in a vocal lesson or on stage or something like that, or when it's needed, or when a professional tells me to sing. So like, and it was kind of at first I didn't know what was gonna happen because I never taken a vocal lesson, so I didn't know what to expect. And also, I didn't know where my starting point was gonna be. I didn't know if I was gonna start off really strong or start off not that strong and have more to work on. I was gonna be excited no matter what. Like, if I was gonna start off not that strong and needing to work on some stuff, great. Or if I was gonna start off strong. I feel I started off pretty strong. Because, but also, the teacher just made it really easy to start off strong. Like, she gave some good tips and stuff, and later, she told us in the class, she's like, when it's not your turn, or she gave us, like, a, like, vocal, like, warm-up thing, a thing to work on while we're muted, and while it's not our turn, to keep our voice warmed up. And she told us to like do it when it's not our turn. And I did. I continued even when and like I wasn't gonna go again because like I had already gone. I still did. Also, then I'll get into all this stuff. But anyways, I didn't know what if something I didn't know. Oh really? Like I generally didn't know because of if I was gonna like have a different reaction or something in class because I'm not doing it with my crush. So like I didn't know, but things went really really well. I feel like when I got started, I went for it, and before class started, I told myself a few things. I'm like, first up, you're going to be outgoing, meaning if she asks who wants to go next, you're going to raise your hand. If she, you're, whatever she wants, whatever is the most outgoing thing you can do, you're going to do it. It doesn't matter if you're terrified or not, you're doing it. Luckily, I wasn't terrified. And that was something that I wasn't sure if that was going to change either. And for some reason, I had an H. But anyways, there was like, I didn't really know. Oh, and luckily it went really well, and like, it went really, really well. Like, I logged on, and then she explained, I logged on, and then I actually got to unmute and talk with her for a second, which was good. And then I like told her it was like my first time, and like doing a vocal lesson, and she like you can go by yourself, but if you don't think you're ready, you can go with someone else. And I'm like, I'm ready to go by myself. Then it went really well. She explained the rules because everyone has like every Zoom class that I done has like different rules. Like every teacher. Or I feel like with the ALTC, it's all kind of the same rules. With Guide Group, it's slightly different. It's kind of similar. Or like with ALTC, I feel like the rules are you have to be nice and respectful. Don't roll your eyes or like anything like that. You stay muted unless the teacher asks you to unmute and you don't complain when someone else gets spotlighted and you didn't. With guy group, it's kind of like you get more chances to unmute. Like, he'll like let you unmute sometimes and stuff for like if you have like a question, concern, or complaint, or if you just want to like if there's something that you want to tell him and stuff. But yeah, so anything like that. And so I didn't really know like what the rules were gonna be. Also, I didn't know if like I felt like because it's a vocal lesson that we would have to unmute. And so what we did, she made it very simple on a very easy explain the rule. We did some group vocal warm-ups where, and randomly throughout it, she would have one of us unmute at a time. And then we would mute and keep going. And then we all like got a turn to like unmute and like pick a song that we liked. I chose Everyday Pop Stars and that was kind of a bad choice on my end. Everyday Pop Stars by JoJo Siwa is amazing. It was a bad choice on my end because it's one of the few JoJo songs I do not have 100% memorized. And I worked on it. Today I listened to it twice. Like 2 or 3 times. I'm like getting it in my head because for next week. Because I chose to stick with the song. I'm going to try to learn the lyrics by next week. Then, so like the class went really well. And then after the class, like I had did math like before the class. I went on my phone calculator and I did math to add up how much it would cost for me to do like a month's worth and all of this. How much it would cost if I paid for like a class, like, and what my parents would have to pay for, like, all of that. Like, I did math and realized it was going to be like the pricing of a master class for my parents to pay for me to do almost the entire month. And I would do like pay for one plus some. And that's saying a lot from me because it's summer and summer break. And for me to do math during summer break, it's like, that tells you how badly I want this. And then what happened was after the class, I brought the idea up to my dad. And he liked it. He, like, let me explain. And I brought the idea up to my dad. And then he asked me, he's like, did you enjoy it? And I'm like, yes. Like, think about it, like you're investing in my future, like, singing is a huge part in becoming a pop star, like, and I just kind of, like, made it obvious that, like, this is a great thing. And he's like, he didn't really give me an answer, but he was definitely considering it. And then I brought it up to my mom. And my mom was the one, like, I went to my dad first. He's the one that can be easier to get a yes from. My mom is not so easy because my mom is very money cautious. The money's there, and my dad has said that. Like, money is not a problem. He said it's not going to be a problem money-wise, so that's nothing I need to worry about. But, my mom is money cautious because she didn't have a lot of money growing up. And now, we're at a point where now she gets money cautious, but also, when it comes down to it, like, at the end, when it comes down to it, it goes with it, and it's not a big deal. She, like, sometimes makes it seem like a big deal, like leading up to it, and then when it gets down to the end, and she's like, you can do it. And the fact that, like, instantly my mom said, and my mom's like, okay. And the fact that she agreed, I literally told my dad, I'm like, Mom agreed, so this has to happen now. And he's like, like, okay. Because to get my mom to agree that quickly on something that, like, it costing money, it's like, when that happens, my dad learned to just let it happen and agree with it. Now, the one thing that I will say, the one other, like, concern that I had was my dance schedule. Because I don't know if it's going to conflict with my dance schedule. But that isn't going to be too much of a problem because, first up, if I have to miss some dance, it's fine because it's for a vocal lesson that I get once a week. Also, our Thursday dance class, we're getting the same thing on Saturdays. And it's like, and I would end up missing some of Abby's, like, leg and feet, like, warm-up, so that also there is YouTube videos out there, so I can do it later. But also, Abby would want me to do this. And also, Abby doesn't always teach on Thursdays. So in the end, it's like, Abby would want me to do this. And this is something I'm getting once a week. Also, I would only have to be on there. And for, like, group warm-up, I would have to be on there for group warm-up and then my turn. And then after my turn is done, I can put in the chat, hey, I have to go. I have dance. So, like, that's not going to be a problem at all. Like, that is something that, like, if I miss a little bit of dance, it's fine. Because I'm really strong in dance, and this is to work on my singing. This happens once a week. I'm in dance class almost every single day. And so, like, yeah. The only thing is that I am worried that can seem like a lot more money than what it actually is, because when, like, dance, it's like we pay, like, a certain amount, and then we're good for, like, 3 months. We're, like, 3 or 4 months. Versus, I feel like with dance, we pay 4 times a year. This is something where it's less money, but we have to pay weekly. Because it's like, it's $15 per class. And they post the thing to like, pay for the class, like, the week of. But also my parents said they agreed. So I'm very excited. And also my dad understands this is my future. Like, chances are we don't know about college yet. Like, we don't know if that's going to happen or not, because we don't know where this is going to go in the next few years. This could pick up and be something that goes far, or it may not. And I feel like I did a really good job. And honestly, I was expecting a lot more corrections and a lot more notes than what I actually was given. So that made me very excited, because singing's not my strongest area. It's easier for me to sing in front of professional people and people I don't know. And there's literally, I don't know the reason on why. For me, singing in front of family and stuff is not as easy as singing in front of professionals and, like, people I don't know. Because there were a lot of people on there there were people that I didn't know, because, not counting the teacher, because there were other people taking the class. And I feel I did a really good job. I chose Everyday Pop Stars by JoJo Siwa. This morning I listened to the song a couple of times, so it's like to start getting it in my head, and so I know the lyrics. And so, because I didn't know the lyrics, I just kind of, like, chose that song. because I like that song. And so it's good for me to learn the lyrics and stuff. And also, I'm gonna, have it pulled up. Like, I'm gonna either have the lyrics, on paper, or I'm gonna have, a lyric video or something pulled up on, my dad's tablet or something. Because apparently we're allowed to do that as long as it's not turned up super loud and that she can still hear us. Like that situation, because a lot of people were doing that, and that might actually be great so I don't forget the lyrics and stuff, but I'm gonna try to memorize it. I'm gonna say peace out. Bye.